Hi everybody, my name's Kelly. I uh, I was thinking about this the other day, and then something came up today, and um, we were talking. I was talking with one of my friends, and about 2 years ago, I got the privilege and the uh, encouragement by two women. Cynthia Gagan and Roberta Birnbaum are the two women, and they gave me a live show once a week. I was scared to death, but I did it, and it was a great time. I had a blast. Now I do my own shows on Knitting and Things on LinkedIn, which I love. I do a lot of experimenting, a lot of trying to find a lot of cheaper ways to do things. So I thought, um, since I don't have the videos from back then when I did I call it Cheap and Easy was my show. I wanted to start some tips and hints on how to start journaling because a lot of people don't know. And a lot of people think you have to spend a lot of money, and you really don't. You don't have to have all the big stuff and all that kind of, you know, golden and whatnot. You can start easily with folk art. Uh, I buy Liquitex Basics. I mean, it's whatever's on sale. You can get the folk art for 77 cents, and this one's Americana, and is even cheaper when on sale. And using coupons is great. If you don't go out much, go on HobbyLobby.com. They have a coupon every week you can use, and you can start building up your supply there. If One of the things I taught in those shows and classes were, um, do the Roy G. Biv, get the basic colors plus your black and white, because you can mix and layer. If so I go down the line. Um, I can show you that with the mixing of the colors and all. I'm going to link on here a great video at the end, give you the link of Edie, who actually will mark. Like, she makes these things with like her paint and the colors and all the things that she has, so she can see how it reacts on gesso, off gesso, what have you. So I think that's really great. Um, One of the things I'm going to do first, and then I'm going to talk to you about a few things while this dry, is I'm going to gesso this page. And this is just the mixed media Canson. However, I want to tell you how I started out and what I started out with. And it worked just as well. Except I can't find, I've used all of the poster board and I can't find it. So real quick, I'm going to put down, now I'm doing this large because I want to show you guys different things to do on this page. It's going to end up being a journal page. I love journaling because it helps me heal. I have a lot of things that I can't control, illnesses and whatnot. And journaling, for a few years ago, actually, I was really doing great with commissions and whatnot. And then I lost my mojo and just couldn't get it back, and decided to start trying to get it back through art journaling. And you see, I'm just slapping this on. It's like you're covering the page. But when I started getting back into it, I realized a lot of people, thought that Golden or Liquitex even, you had to have all those things to be a great art journalist or painter, and you don't. I have a great friend who always says it's how you use the product and knowing what your product does for you. So this is gessoed the best I'm going to do it. And while this dries, I just have an old Chinese, I don't even know what kind of soup it was. Let me just pan over here. Wonton soup container I use for my water. So you see, I'm real classy. Okay. So while this dries, let me explain a few things to you. I had used poster board, and we all know what poster board is. You can go to the dollar store and get poster board for $3 for $1. Art stores, AC Moore, Michaels, all of them sell them. You can also use their coupons. They're online, but you can't buy online and use their coupons. You have to go to their store, depending, Hobby Lobby, all that kind of thing. This right here is something that I had done, and this is done on poster board. This is something that I had done, and this is done on a piece of paper. So, and I wrote a little thing on here to, for myself at the time. I allow myself to go outside my box and embrace the suckage of what I need to learn and expand and grow. And this was a group I was in a long time ago. But yeah, so, you know, there's so many ways. And as I go on, you know, I go on and do different lessons, I'll teach you how to do really cool things. Very inexpensively. Poster board. And this picture, and if you can see up close, there's lines on her face. I have a notebook, like a small little notebook in my purse. And my husband had ran into the store or something. And I sat and drew her. And because I didn't want to ruin her, I copied her on my printer and just made a regular copy. And then cut her out. So I always had my original and added her on here. And then did some stuff on there I'll teach as we continue on in lessons. And it's really cool, and it's very easy. And like I said, this is poster board. Now let me explain what I did with the poster board. And I'm so angry I don't have poster board on me. Pretend like this was your poster board, your big piece. You would cut it into approximately, I mean, with whatever size you want. You know, if you want them to be this size or bigger, if you want them to be, you know, 6x6, 6x8, whatever you want. You cut, you know, try to do it so you get the most out of your poster board. Doesn't matter what side, because you're going to gesso. If you're not going to gesso, which is okay also, make sure the shiny side, you know, is kind of like in a different because you want to work on the matted side if you're not going to gesso. If you're going to gesso, you're going to do, you know, the whole thing. And what I did was I folded, after I had them the size, and they don't have to be the exact same size, but I folded them all, and then I put one inside of the other. So as you turned it, it was a book, and it would open up. So they were like you know, like this. So then you would turn it and you would open it, and you would have two free pages. And I did that the whole way through. I punched 3 holes with my hole punch. I just took yarn, whatever I had laying around. I had cotton yarn or something, and tied them together. Very simple. Just punch in a little bit further than on the edge, so when you turn, it opens. So you can do 1 or a 2-page spread. I did that, and then I did a cover on it. And again, like I said, I have to find it, but this is on regular cardstock. You know, cardstock that you buy, not cardstock. You know, I just lost all train of thought. That's me. So you can make, you don't have to go out and spend all this money on journals and everything like that. That's nice to be able to do. And if you're able to, great. If not, there are so many other ways to do it and start. Art for me is really healing. I don't, some days are harder than others for me, and it really does help me. So now our gesso is dry, and I went to the dollar store and I bought a book, and this is my book I rip out of. Now, this is just basic, mixed media background, and that's all I'm going to do today. So today I'm not going to use this book with the text. I'm just going to teach you basic colors and stencils with a quote for just a beginner. Okay. Today I'm going to do pinks and blues and just basic paints. I have what color are you? Aqua, baby pink. I have light flush. I have light portrait pink, and I have a darker blue, cobalt blue. Now, I always start with the lightest color first. So, and I always have paper towels. You can get these at the dollar store because they do get expensive. Or you can have a towel that you constantly use. I also have towels here, excuse my arms, that I use for these kind of things too, to blot up and do whatever. I don't use many palettes. It depends on what I'm doing, especially when I'm doing a journal page, because usually the best mistakes make the best, that's my dog, make the best pages. But this is what I do. I just do a little squiggling. Okay. And I take my brush, just give it a little bit of wetness, dry it off a little bit, and you just start. You don't have to cover the whole page. And that's it. Now, you can take your paper towel and you can blot. And you see when you blot, and I'll try to bring it in if you can't. And this is also helping it dry. I have a heat gun that will dry this, except, like I've said before, I'm in the middle of moving my art room around still today, and I have to really move everything. So, but you can see. Okay, let me just show you if you can see the little bit of texture that's in there. Yeah. See the texture from the camera's not being very cooperative today. Yeah, see the texture in there from the paper towels? I think it's the way the light's hitting. I need better light above me. But you can see that that left texture. Let me see how close I can get. See it? Okay? And it dried. You know, it's basically dry. You don't have to wait for it to all the way dry. So that's our first color. Second color I'm going to put in is the light portrait pink. And I'm just going to do a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, dot here. I'm going to take my brush, it's wet, I'm going to just dab it off. And again, just up and down. You can go over the colors that you have. Let me see if I can, it's better if I turn it this way. All right. I think I know what I gotta do. Okay. So you just go, kind of scale it on. Something fun to do when you're doing this kind of thing is if you have, let's see what I have. I don't know. Something to scrape it with. I'll just use this for now. And just scrape, just to get some texture. And to get some of that bottom up. Okay. Just turn my paper towel inside out. I also save my paper towels when I'm doing these things because I like doing, and again, adding a little bit more texture, just kind of helping it along to dry. I like adding them in art journals and all too. We're just going like that. Let me see if I, just give me 1 second, bear with me. Let's see if this helps. You don't need to see me. Let's see that. Drives me crazy. See, everybody has issues. Nothing's perfect. We all have issues with lighting and cameras and whatnot. Okay, so here we are. I want this to be as up close as we can get it. Now, what can we do? Let me think of something that you can do at home that you don't have to get anything extra. La, 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 la. if you have stamps, I have some unmounted rubber stamps to make a quick background. Let me see what I got here. And it doesn't exactly matter what it is, because you just want it to kind of make a background. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just kind of want it to be in the background, because we're going to cover it up anyway. And then I just need, I think we'll do Ladybug Memento. Okay, here's my stamp. And I just pat on it. Usually you do this on the table, but I want you to see. And it's okay if you don't get the whole thing. It doesn't matter. And then you just flip the bad boy over and you stamp wherever you want. Because we're just adding a different sense of texture. Again, no big deal. We're going to stamp. Sometimes it smears. Who cares? And if you have other stamps, great. Now let me show you what I do. Let me grab my other things over here. Okay. Here are some of my mixed media things. And we're going to do a grunge journal in the next video. This is from my husband's solder. Corrugated cardboard. This is from my razor. And this is a fork. What fun. Now, you can also just take your ink if you want. And you say, oh, I just want a little bit here, a little bit there, on the edges, whatever you want. It's all what you want to do and how you want to, you know, it's playing. These are your art journals for yourself. Actually, I picked for this one when I'm done one of my favorite quotes in the world. And that's what I'm doing this on. Now you can see, let's see if you can see. Let's see. La, 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 la. This one impressed in the paint. Can you see that? So when that's dry, that's going to be really cool. Save everything. Save, like I said, anything that you can stamp with. Any you know, your forks, like I said, corrugated cardboard. What else do I have? I have sponges and bubble wrap and all kinds of cool stuff that we'll be working with. Okay, so here we are with this. Now I'm going to take a little bit of baby pink. I don't know if that's going to be any darker or not. Than the pink we have. So we'll just test a little bit. It just has looks like it has a little bit more of a. Now, do you have credit cards that you don't use, or gift cards, or library cards, or what have you? Anything like that? I have an old MAC card. And you take your paint and you just scrape. Let's see if I can get this off again. See, you don't have to be perfect. It's okay. We all make mistakes. We all are, you know, nobody's a pro. We're all just learning in here to get by. Scrape it this way. Scrape over that. Just scrape. I am getting a glare somewhere, so I'm going to have to check on that. But we're just scraping that paint off. Now, something I like to do that's fun. Give it a little spray of water. Take your paper towel. You can wipe. and fill in the other, the marks. You see all the layers. And once you get it like that, you can take your fork and just add more texture. Now, while I give this a minute to dry, and you see the stamp, let's see, we're getting the glare from somewhere, and I'm not sure where. But if you see the stamp, you can still see it underneath, but not really. And that's cool. If you don't want to do that and you want the stamp to be more predominant, do it. It's yours. Do it the way you want to do it. I think it's your art, your way to do it. So here we are, and we're going to give this a minute to dry. I don't know if you guys find art as healing as I do. I know a lot of people do it to heal, to help, just help bring a peace to yourself. Some people do it to teach. They have a lot to offer. Some people do it to sell. It all depends on what you do it. And I think doing all of it is fantastic. I think if you're just starting out, again, and you don't have a lot of money, there's a very inexpensive way to start. And, it's not a bad thing. Because you want to make sure you like it. I think that's more important. I think that's what scares people too. You might like making jewelry more than you like painting. You might like knitting more than you like painting. You might like sewing more than you like painting. It all is in what you like. I started out making clay dolls and quilting and sewing. And then I moved on to making jewelry. And clay has always been my love. But and then I, got into drawing and the folk art and the journal pages and just fell in love. Because it's so freeing, because it doesn't matter. And yeah, I'm videotaping it, but you don't have to. And you can keep it to yourself if you want. And it's private. And it's how you learn and how you can do this for 10 minutes. You could do it for 3 hours. It depends on what you like. And that's what you have to always remember. So I'm going to, and you'll see this come up again, if I can get some paint out, in the grunge video, but I'm going to just show you real quick. I just paint this color on. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll just run some of this through, just to add some of the color. And then I'll just put it down and push it like a stamp. And there you go. And push it like a stamp. I like the gradation and like the darker to the lighter, so I won't put more on. You're free to do whatever you like. And all this is a piece of corrugated cardboard that came in the mail in a package I got. How cool. Okay. That goes that. Now, see, I see like there's other blue in here still, so I'll just go through it with my brush so it doesn't clump. And maybe I'll put it on my Intuition in parts. Doesn't even have to be all over it. And just kind of stamp, stamp, stamp. And that's it. Very cool. Okay. So, one of my favorite quotes is, just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it turned into a butterfly. And it's one of my favorite quotes, because there's been many times in my life, for more reasons than I care to discuss, that you feel like, you know, something happens, whether it's health, family, whatever, and you feel like, you know, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So, it's been one of my favorite quotes for a very long time. So I wanted to do this journal page as a beginner's page for that. And you see how simple this was, just very quickly for a journal page. Now remember, going back, if you don't have stamps or you don't have corrugated cardboard, okay, you can use a stamp. You can use a plastic fork with your ink. Okay, you could do whatever you have. The things around, I mean, you can wrinkle up aluminum foil. Go to the dollar store, wrinkle it up, open it, put you know, paint on it, and stamp it. Do you need ink? An ink pad? No. If you have it, great. Use it. If not, don't worry about it. So here's going to be our basic background. And I will, once it's done, I will trim it down for it to be, you know, because like I said, depending on how big your journal is. I mean, this is just kind of big so you can see. I'm going to take, let me see here. I think I might do 2 stencils. This is one, and it's awfully big, and I really want to rip it apart, but I haven't had the nerve to do so yet. I can't quite decide. But I'm going to pick just one butterfly with some loopies, and maybe 2, since that fits on there good. But I want to make sure I have place for my saying. So maybe that's what we'll do. Okay. Now this is a stencil, and I'm going to kind of give it just a push down so I kind of know. And I'm going to do this in dark blue. And this color is cobalt teal. No, I'm sorry, cobalt blue. So it's obviously a darker blue than the one I used underneath to really make it show. I have used pouncers, you know, stencil brushes. I have used regular. I have used makeup sponges. Let me see. Sorry for my arm. Makeup sponges. You get these at the dollar store. They come in triangles or circles. To do stencils, you don't have to have anything fantastic, you know, fancy at all. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the paint there. I'm going to just dip my brush in it. I'm going to dab my brush off. And as you can see over here, I'm just dabbing because I want to get most of that off. And then we'll start with the butterflies. And this one I'm going to hold down. And again, perfection is not the name of the game here. And I just pounce. Is my hand in the way? Can you see? Pounce, 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 pounce. And these kind of things are very therapeutic too. And whether, like I said, you do just a background of one color. And I'm going to do it around it just so we can see what it is. If you just do one background of color and none of the extra stuff and do this, do a stencil on top with your favorite quote, how you're feeling today, whatever it may be, that's fine too. It's all a matter of just starting. And it's throwing colors that you see what I did. Before I even did any of these, I just threw a couple colors down. You don't have to break the bank to go to art journal. Watch how simple this is. Nobody's judging you. This is for you. This is for you to, you know, like this pouncing. Get out your aggression. It's not for you to be judged or anything else. It's for you to feel good. And don't we all just want to feel good? I know I do. And that's why I love art journaling so much. Because things like this Make sure you get in the insides, and if you don't, who cares? The point is you're doing it. Like I said, I can see my little holes here. There's a lot of, maybe I would have wanted a littler brush. Maybe I just brush it in like that and say, hey, who am I to say what kind of brush I need? Like I said, I've used regular paintbrushes and makeup sponges, and I've learned a lot from, you know, different people and everybody has techniques. Everybody has their own thing to bring to the table, and I bet all of you guys do too. And that's why I like doing beginning projects, because you can just sit and watch this and nobody has to know until you're ready to show. And I'm not going to bother with this butterfly. I'm just going to kind of let it kind of trail off, because I want to put my saying down. Now, some people get weird with getting their hands full of paint. I'm not one of them. And I don't, I'm people who know me know I'm not in for perfection. Maybe I should be. Maybe that's, you know, some people are. I am to have fun. When I'm done with this and I look at this, I'm to have fun and to know what this means to me when I put this saying on here. I've had a rough couple weeks health-wise, and this is the best therapy. Believe it or not. And look how simple. And you don't even need a lot of tools. And you guys can email me on here, on my YouTube. You can email me on, I'm under Knitting and Things or Kelly Donovan on Facebook. Or wherever, you know. But if you email me on here, you want to, you know, you want to talk, you want to ask me a question. I belong to the Healing Sanctuary, and she has helped me so much, and please check it out, because it is such a great place. Now again, the stencil isn't going to be the best stencil in the world, because I'm not really looking for perfection. I'm looking for me having a really bad day today and sitting here and going to do just what I'm doing. And I thought, wow, I would love to redo and start redoing my cheap and easy stuff also, along with my other vids. Now, you can add a little bit of water to your brush, a little bit of water to your paint if you want it to be more watery. It will run under the stencil, but really, at the end of the day, this is just for beginners. People who watch this, who already know how to do this stuff, are probably laughing at me with the water, knowing it's going under the stencil. I don't care. Okay, so I think with my stencil, I'm pretty good. Of all I want to really put it. You know where I might put it? And don't tell me where you think I should put it. That was a joke. You also get to know my sense of humor. I'm just going to go over all this with the rest of this. To make sure I got it good. Give them a nice mottled look. I think I might go just for this little pattern up here. I don't know, can you see that little pattern? Yeah, right here. Yeah, get me one of those cameras that have the remote control. Okay, so there we go. There's my stencil. Now, let me back it up a minute. Let me see. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. And we lift. Now look how cool. Now, here's a fun tip. If you don't get your pages stuck together like Kelly does. Yeah, well, we'll just go to the next page. When you have a stencil that you use or a stamp or whatever, go to a free page, turn it the opposite way, and push it down. Use your rag or paper towel, whatever you have, and push it down. So you get that extra paint off. Watch how fun. And you say, how could that be fun, Kel? And it isn't when it sticks, but when it doesn't stick, you have a layer. You have a layer for when we do our next, when we do our next mixed media page, we'll use this page as our beginning, as our grunge page. So, I mean, look, no paint wasted. Very cool. And how can you go wrong? But we're going to go back to this right now. So I look at this and I say, okay, perfection, who wants it? So I'm just going to kind of dab to lighten up the blue a little bit. Up here just kind of looks like a mess, so I'm going to kind of dab some of that off, and we'll do something over that. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about doing something that makes you happy. And as you can see, look how cool that looks on the background so far. Now, do I like this little bloopy right here? No, I'm going to figure out what to do with it. What shall we do with it? Well, let's take our stamp, because I'm trying to stay in the area of what we're using. I don't want to use anything new right now. Let's take our stamp and take, let's take our teal. And I'll just do a little bit of the teal. I'll just put a little bit on my table here. Well, way more than a little bit, but it's okay. I'll take my brush, rinse it out, dry it. And let me give you a quick tip too. If you use rags for your painting, and I'm just going to lightly, a very light touch, go over it so I can stamp. If you use rags for your painting, don't throw them in with fabric softener, because they won't absorb water or anything like that. It kind of like protects them. And we'll just do a couple little prints. We'll be going over them anyway. Now that just looks like a mess, so I'm going to go like this. As I said, mess? Who has a mess? We're going to paint over it. How fun is that? And then you go back in with your rag, give it a wipe. We know our page is predominantly pink. We're going to squeeze a little bit of pink on there. Just going to take my fingers. Take my fork. And then once I get my words and everything that I want to write on here, I'll go back over that, probably with a little bit more pink. I need to leave that dry to blend that together. No big deal. Not worried about it. Now, let me see here. I'm going to write on the bottom. Now, you can use your stamp set. You don't have to have one. I'm going to use Faber-Castell. Why is it dark in here today? My bold And I'm going to write down here. Just. And you write in fancy handwriting in whatever way you want. If I could spell, that would even be better. I couldn't fix that. See, we all make mistakes. Who cares? Just give him a little dot. He'll stop. We'll just go back to the H. Mistakes are okay. It's art. Just when. Let me make sure I get this correct, too. The caterpillar thought the world was over. You guys see I'm bending over. And remember, this is not something that I'll show this in my group. So it's just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it turned into a butterfly. And I love doing little hearts. And this is just basic. I'm going to fix this up here. Handwriting, I have rheumatoid arthritis. Some days my hands work, some days don't. Today's not a good day for me. Doesn't matter. It doesn't stop me from what I do. This personalizes it for me. Now, what I will tell you is this little blue thing on the top there is really getting on my nerves. So, I'm really going to put pink down. Because I'm not digging on it. And I'm going to scrape. And scrape, and scrape. There. Then we get like the... There we go. So we get to see some of the blue, but not really. And that will dry. Paper towels. And then I'll just kind of scrape up a little bit just to get so there's no edge kind of. Maybe do some down here just to get it off the card. Now, this is simple. This isn't anything fancy. You might look at this and say, that's nasty, that's ugly, that's nasty. But you know what? To me, it means something. And that's what art journaling is about. It's to mean something for you. Like I said, my past couple weeks have not been great for me. And I was reminded of this quote. And I wanted to show you guys, just starting out, what you can do. What you can do with 3-4 materials. Nothing, nothing fancy. Now, if you want, you can go in with your marker, black paint, whatever you have, and if you want to trace it, so you get a different look. I know my shadow keeps getting in the way. I'm so sorry. But then you can have this lead off whatever way you want. Now let's trace this one butterfly. And you can trace whatever color you want, or you don't have to. Just giving you some options. You could trace it in white, trace it in paint. You know, to give more definition if you're, some people, you know, like that. Some people don't care. Some people, it doesn't matter. It's yours. That's the best part, isn't it? It is yours. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a beginner page. I'm not feeling great today. So this is what I'm doing today. Something where I feel like I did something. Yeah, you could loosely trace it. You don't have to do it all in the same. I know my hand's going to get in the way of this. But you can loosely trace it. You can, you know, on the outside. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's yours. Do as you please. Little antennas. Again, this is just a beginner's page. And it's on those days that you're not feeling great, it's also a great page to do. Any type of what you like. Like I said, you can go back in, do these. You don't have to. You know, up here, you want to take, what do I have here that I can use? You want to take a little bit of the blue. You're going to take your little fork, stick it, your little prongs in there like that. Kind of give it a little bit of, to bring the blue in. Wherever you want the blue. Just to bring it in. Just very nothing. You want to take this further, you could paint the butterfly and do whatever you want. But this is basic. This is just a basic thing. And like I said, I like texture, so the paper towels work well for me, especially in these big bumps. And I'll add a little bit of water just to kind of loosen that up a little bit. Because water with acrylic paint will loosen up and help you get some of the underneath to show through the color. Like I said, the fork, I mean, how can you go wrong? Think about what else you could do. These are just steps. These are just techniques to use. So, let me try to get this all in here for you. I'm going to back the page up. And it won't, so we will move this back. Not on me. And there you go. How simple. I think we used 3 colors. And the quote is, just when the caterpillar thought his world was over, he turned into a butterfly. And you can see in the picture, like in here where we traced it, I would probably continue to trace it all because it does make it stand out much better. But I mean, look how cool. Just a very easy journal page. And this quote means so much to me. So this is great way to start. This is a very great way to do a journal page when you are not feeling well, but you want to do some art. I hope that you guys will do, do some of these, show me, and be good to yourselves. Thank you.